So I've got a bit more of a talky vlog for you today. This is something I've been thinking about doing for a little while, but it's kind of taken me some time to, sorry, I was sitting on a book. It's taken me a little while to kind of get my thoughts together about it, but I thought it'd be quite fun. I think I've talked about this on the blog a bit, and definitely with my friends and stuff, because I've been living in the UK for, I guess, almost 2.5 years now, which weirdly feels like a long time, but also doesn't really feel like that long. And there's still things now that I sort of have to stop and think about or catch me by surprise. And so I kind of thought I would sort of put it all together in one little package. The 5 things that no one tells you about moving to another country. Some of them are probably a bit obvious. Some of them I think I didn't really figure out until after I'd already moved. But kind of in general, they're things that definitely have had an effect on sort of how I go through my days. One of the things that no one tells you is that you basically have to learn how to speak a whole new language, and moving from a country where you speak English to a country where you also speak English, that's not really something I ever thought about or factored in. And even now, I say things that are very American and people kind of go, what? Or people say things that are very British and I have to ask them to explain. You basically have to learn a whole new vocabulary of things just to kind of have conversations with people. I remember I was at work and we use radios a lot at work, and you have to radio for each other when you speak to someone. And I was trying to find my manager, and so I went over the radio and I said, "Hello Michael, what's your 20? And he came back and went, "My what?" So I repeated it. I said, "Hey Michael, what's your 20? Thinking that that's quite a logical thing. I say that all the time. We used to say it all the time in New York at the theater that I worked at there. And people just knew what it meant. And it never occurred to me that he wouldn't know what I meant when I said that. So then he kind of went, "Sorry, I don't know what that means," over the radio for everyone to hear. And I had to then explain that "what's your 20" means "where are you?" Which all of my fellow staff members thought was really hilarious, and now they like to go, "What's your 20?" in a funny American accent, because it's a weird thing that I say that isn't really in the language here, which is quite interesting. There's just sort of little things, you don't think about it until it happens, and there's so many examples. In fact, my parents think I sound very British, but it's pretty much just because my vernacular has now become very British, because I've now had to learn how to speak this new language. Even though it's still English, it's a completely different language. It's fun, and it's hilarious, and it's entertaining. It's gotten me into a little bit of trouble in the past, but you know, I'm learning. I'm learning. One of the things I definitely didn't think about was the fact that I was going to be going from one long-distance relationship to many, many long-distance relationships. I don't know why that didn't cross my mind, but it did. And you know, people always say, when you say you've been in a long-distance relationship, people always talk about how hard it is. But when that is your friends and family, it's really difficult. I just didn't think about it. I just didn't ever go, "Oh yeah, no, so I'm gonna have to now put in the same amount of effort that I've been putting in with Phil for the last 3 years into maintaining a relationship with my parents and my friends from home and, you know, old coworkers and stuff like that." You just don't think about it. And I think that's definitely something that took me by surprise, because I was so used to being able to text my best friend Beth and getting a reply almost immediately. Now, every time, unless we happen to be sort of up at the same time, a lot of the time there's like a 5-hour delay, which is very, very strange, and you do have to get used to it. I will message people before I go to bed, and I'll wake up to their messages and I think, "Oh, I should probably reply to these. It's been like 8 hours, purely because of the time difference." You know, you think about your social circle, and then you move to a new place, and that social circle, it still feels like it should be your main one because that's what you're used to, but you kind of have to learn how to maintain those when there's an ocean between you. I think that also brings me to my next point, which is that when you move to a new country, it takes a lot of time to sort of rebuild or build a new social network of people. Because I was moving for a person and that person had friends who I was also friends with, I never stopped and thought, oh, I'm gonna have to make friends on my own and sort of try to get out there and meet new people. I just didn't process this. And maybe that was just me being a bit naive about the whole situation. But I guess I had a bit of tunnel vision. I was just so excited to finally like be with the man that I love that I just didn't think about sort of the extenuating circumstances, if that's the right way of phrasing it. Trying to build a new social circle, a bit like dating, I was never the best at dating, so it's really awkward, but also hilarious. I'm really quite fortunate though that I've managed to make some really great friends, and I've made some really great friends through blogging as well, which has been amazing, and they're people that I really feel like I will be friends with for a very long time. Of course, I still talk to my friends from home. I still talk to quite a few people. There are some people I have kind of fallen out of touch with, which is a real shame. And I keep thinking, oh, I should message that person. But sometimes you just kind of, it falls by the wayside a bit, which is not ideal. I definitely am in a place where I'm quite happy with the people that I spend my time with. So that's definitely important. I'm quite happy now, whereas I think when I first moved I felt a bit stressed and panicked about the fact that I maybe didn't have as many friends as I wanted to. Gosh, that sounds a bit funny, doesn't it? But yeah, no, that's a very real part of picking up your whole life and moving. Bits get left behind and you do kind of have to rebuild. I think one of the things that probably threw me off the most was having to basically relearn skills, relearn things that I already knew how to do, things that you don't feel like are skills, but you just kind of do out of necessity, like going to the grocery store, or even transportation. Sort of basic things that you don't think are going to be different, and it's those little things that you're expecting to be similar. When they are different, it completely throws you off. I went to the grocery store, I think the first week that I was here. I was like, oh, Phil's at work, I'm gonna make him a nice dinner, I'm gonna go to the grocery store. So I went, and first things first, I went to get a trolley, and I've never been to a store before where you had to put a pound in to like unlock the trolley. I've never had that, so I didn't know you were supposed to do that. So I went to go just try and pull one out, and the security guard started shouting at me and was like, that's not how we do it, and it was just really funny. And then when he realized I wasn't from here, he basically just started laughing at me, which didn't really help. So finally, I put a pound in, got my trolley, and I was walking around. I mean, even the fact that I'm calling it a trolley, normally I just call it a grocery cart, but you know, vocabulary, there you go. So I'm walking around the grocery store with my trolley, and I can't find anything that I'm trying to find because it's all in different places. It takes me ages, and it really stressed me out. And I just felt like I was completely failing as an adult. And I think this was like part jet lag, part homesickness, part sort of, I don't know. But I ended up just putting the trolley back, and I like went home empty-handed, and I kind of cried about it because I was just like, I know how to do this. Why can't I do this? So you kind of have to like retrain your brain to embrace this new culture and how they sort of do things. It's it's kind of interesting, but it's not something I ever thought about prior to moving. And it was those little things that would like throw me off because there were things that I knew how to do, but I had to relearn in a new culture. It was very, very strange. Yeah, that was tough. You'll probably have to spend a lot of time explaining your cultural references. This happens a lot with my friends and the people I work with and stuff. We'll have conversations and they'll make some comment about something they like or some TV show they used to watch, and I will have no idea what they're talking about, purely because I grew up in another country where that thing didn't exist. I made a joke the other day with a friend on Twitter, which I thought was really funny, about Carmen Sandiego, which is a cartoon that I used to watch when I was younger. Carrie, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. It was funny if you knew who Carmen Sandiego was, but obviously you didn't, so you know, such is life. Anyway, because I'm talking to her now instead of all of you, I made this joke on Twitter about Carmen Sandiego, and she didn't really know what I was talking about, and so we kind of laughed at that. But then when I was talking to my friends back home about it on WhatsApp, they were like, how do they not know who Carmen Sandiego is? What is that? That's so weird. You just don't think about the little cultural, like pop culture things, films. Oh, so like in Love Actually, you know the Christmas song that Bill Nighy's character sings? I didn't know that that was a real song, and that the whole point of that part of that film was like a joke and a play on that song. I thought literally that was a song that they wrote for that film. I had no idea, because the band who sings it literally never existed in America. Unfortunately, it means that I think my sense of humor and my references sometimes are lost on people, but you know, such is life, I guess. I'm sure there are lots of other things that I could probably talk about in terms of sort of the experience of moving, because to be honest with you, I didn't really know anyone else who's done it before, so I guess that's why a lot of this stuff kind of took me by surprise, because there was no one there to go, oh, this is a thing, and this is a thing, and this is a thing, which is also why I thought it'd be quite fun to do a vlog about it, because it's a very real part of my experience. It's a bizarre thing to sort of live in another country, but also it's amazing. I mean, I'm so happy to be here, but every day you learn something new. Only a few weeks ago I listened to Steps for the first time. What? Crazy, I know. But there you go, there you have it. The 5 things that no one tells you about moving to another country.